Hey guys, I'm Kevin Toppenberg. If I have a piece that I want to cut in my lathe, I'm going to attach it to the lathe through this chuck here. And for people that don't know, there's two kinds of chucks. There's a 3-jaw chuck where all the jaws come in at the same time and it's very convenient. It just kind of comes in there and holds it. But sometimes you need to use a 4-jaw chuck if it's maybe not completely round or if you want to have it shifted off to one side or the other. So there's a 3-jaw chuck and there's a 4-jaw chuck. And then sometimes you'll have a piece that's just a really weird or not round at all. And you just want to clamp it to the face of the chuck, and that's called a surface plate. So for the old lathe, I've got to restore a 4-jaw, a 3-jaw, a small surface plate, and a large surface plate. And they come out looking really good. Let's get started. Okay, I'm going to clean up this 3-jaw chuck. There's a 1, 2, and 3 here, and each of these jaws is numbered. They'll have to be put back in that same order to hook up with the scroll on the inside. So I took out the 4 large bolts on the front, and I couldn't really tell where it divided, and so I just tapped in there and that popped out. I couldn't see it before, but as I gently knock on this, I've now started to see a little line come there, so I can see that's how it needs to separate. Okay, looks like I've got it separated. I don't see any dings or anything. I think it's working fine. I just thought it might be worth getting some fresh grease in here. I don't really see any wear on these teeth, so I think it's going to be fine. I'm just going to clean it up and then we'll get it back together. Let me see if I can get these parts washed up with some gasoline. Just about done with the cleaning. I just put these in to see how they slide, and they slide nice and easily. This number 2 though is sticking. It's sticking a little bit there. I feel a little burr there. I'm gonna try to stone that. Still sticks a little bit there. Don't feel any. It's going through pretty well. Another thing that's interesting, on the top of these, there's a little hole, and I've just taken a drill with hand and pulled out some gunk and stuff. They only go in, say, 1/4 of an inch, and it does not appear to be threaded. So I'm guessing it's a pin of some sort for holding soft jaws, but I'm not sure quite how it would work without being able to have it threaded. All that goop I'm pulling out. Okay, I've got everything cleaned. Let's get it back together. First, I'll show you what I've got. Got the front plate. It's got a grease nipple. It's got a tag that says Cushman Chuck Company, and it's got a serial number 3509, Hartford, Connecticut, USA. It says 83 here. Not sure what that means, and it's got a 17, which I think is probably, no, that's not 17 inches. I'm not sure what the 17 refers to. All right, then we've got this piece, which I can't really see any dings or wear on it. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. The back side has the spiral groove. This is what moves the jaws in and out. And again, I can't see any wear there. I think that looks nice. Got these 3 gear pieces, which will turn it. That's where the, what do you call it? I guess it'd be the wrench. But this is what came with it. Can you think of anything more fancy than that? I can't believe I'm blanking on the name of this. I'll remember it later. Then I've got the back enclosure. Got that cleaned up. I don't see any wear in there. I think that looks good. And then, of course, my 3 jaws. Now the jaws, if I put them on here and push back and forth, I can't feel any wear in those. So I think that looks good. Now I've got some white lithium grease I'm going to use. So I'm just going to get this back together. All right, I've got grease everywhere. So first I'm going to put this in, spiral down. There, that's in. Then these gears here like that. I'm going to put an ample amount of grease here. I'm going to rotate that just to get it moving around and make sure everything's spread around. That doesn't want to turn. Make sure that's seated down. Yeah, now it turns smoothly. It's not spreading that grease as much as I would like. Probably over greasing this, and it's probably going to all come back out somewhere. Next will come this back plate. Okay, so then these smaller ones are what hold the back side on. And then the three larger ones must hold the back plate, or where it attaches this part here. All right, now I've got them all in. Now let's get them tightened up. Before, that line wasn't even visible. I didn't even think it was there. Okay, those are all tight. Let's just confirm that it still rotates. Yes, it does. All right, now we will put this on. And what's interesting to me is that there's a little mark right there, and I don't know that that's going to show up on the camera. And it looks like it's half of a maker's mark, and I can see that it's half of South Bend, but I don't know where the other half would be because it sat up here proud of that. So they must have just hammered it and half of it didn't get marked. All right. This thing's slippery now. Okay, this one says 1 on the back, and there's 1 here on the surface. Okay, so there it's caught. So now we're going to wait to come around for number 2. Number 2. Yeah, that one's caught. Now we're going to put number 3 in. All right, they're all caught now. And as it's coming in and raising up a big old dollop of grease, try to pull some of that back. It's kind of an anti-seize grease. Now this is the old style chuck, of course, that just screws on, which is not as precise as more modern. I don't know what they call the more modern ones, where they have a piece that goes in and then you lock it in. But for the hobbyist like me, should be fine. It's done lots of work in its time. All right, let's get her mounted. It's good to have that, especially with it being so greasy. I don't want to drop it on my ways. That's not tricky at all. She's home. I'm gonna just put some oil on this rag and just make sure it's got a lot of oil on the outside so it doesn't rust. I don't own a grease gun. I used to, but when I moved my shop, it disappeared. So I'm gonna need to get a grease gun so that I can keep grease in the front end of that. This job's done. Birds have been singing like crazy. While I'm at it, I'm gonna clean up these other surface plates. I've been dreading this. I don't know why. It's really not much to do, just wire wheel. I've already started, I got half of this done. I think it's gonna be kind of boring to watch, so I'll just do it off camera. That cleaned it up easy enough. Just put some oil on it so it doesn't rust and get on to the next one. This is the next one before I wire wheel it. Really not too bad, not too much rust on it. Heavy. For this one, I'm gonna use the lathe itself to spin it and use some sandpaper and clean it up that way. That looks good enough for me. And get that off, get the sanding stuff cleaned up off the ways. And this part here will be done. The next one to do is this 4-jaw chuck. It's not a lot going on with these mechanically. I think I'm just gonna take these out and clean in here. I don't think I'm gonna take off the back and all that part. I don't really see the point of that. Looks like there's some screws here to access something. We'll see. All right, well, this thing was really fighting me when I was just trying to open up the jaws, and just felt like there was just a ton of dirty old grease in there. So I decided I wanted to clean up I guess this would be the Acme screw that the chuck key goes into. And so it's on this pivot, which goes down in the shaft. That's the thing that I was saying I didn't think I needed to clean, but I'm gonna clean it anyway. So I've got this part. I think I am going to leave these alone because I think that just connects it to the back plate part. And I don't really see a point for bringing that out. Although it wouldn't be hard, then I'd have done everything. All right, I'll do it. So I'm trying to give this thing a bath in this little bit of gasoline. And I got this undersized container. It reminds me at my church, for our communion service, we do it 3-4 times a year. We do foot washing, which not all churches do, but some do. And they always have these pans, which are too small for your feet. So you're trying to wash your neighbors, your fellow church members' feet, trying to get it down in this thing and try to scrub it up. And that's what I feel like doing this thing. So I'm giving this thing a baptism of sorts. I remembered why I've been dreading this, because scrubbing is a pain in the butt. Did anyone else, when they were a kid, read the story of the little dog, white dog with black spots, and he ran away and he got all dirty and he turned into a black dog with white spots, and he came home and no one recognized him till he jumped in the bathtub? I haven't thought about that book in probably 50 years. Funny what comes up when you're scrubbing. But I don't think we have too much to do here. It says T-slots on it, which I'm sure it must be for, like, if you wanted to use it as a faceplate. Seems odd. I'm not sure. I've never seen or heard anyone using this. I wonder what it does. Or I wonder what are some examples. Does anyone know? Drop me a comment what an example of using this T-slots would be. So a lot of the resistance I was having initially apparently was not just old grease, it was these things not sliding well. Here you can see it slides pretty well, but when it gets out, well, actually that one's doing pretty good. This one slides good, but then if it gets way, well, there it's proving me wrong. But what I'm having to do, now there it's kind of tight. What I'm having to do is to take, and with my little three-angled triangle stone, is I'm going over each of the surfaces in here, taking out any burrs, just making sure it moves real nice and smooth. And so let me show you this one. See, this is number 1. So when I go to put it in, very tight, very tight. So I'm gonna work on this a little bit and I should be able to get it looser. Well, it took a lot of stoning, but I got this now all moving nice. This one. This one. Still a little bit of a grab there. Don't think that'll play full. And then this one. All right, so I'm gonna go wire wheel this and then we'll put it back together. Okay, let's put it back together. Got my base unit, my 4 jaws. I got the screws, I guess you call that a pivot or axis, or I'm not sure. Okay, and I kept these in order 1, 2, 3, 4. So first of all, we're gonna put this in here. And do it for number 1. The screw has to be facing outward. So the screw needs to be the same. That screw needs to be the same direction as the chuck key opening. 2, 2, and last but not least, number 4. All right, now I'm gonna tap those all down. So you can see that they're in different depths. Well, probably because they're loose. All right. Let's put in a set screw. All right, I'm gonna put some lithium grease on these screws. Actually, I'm just gonna put them on the bottom of these and let it carry it in. What a mess this is. My plan for having it carry the grease in didn't work too good. Just wiped off at the edge. So I'm gonna try putting some on there directly. I also put some gear oil, which is like a 140 viscosity. So it should be kind of thick and stay there. It is going in smooth as butter though. Put a little bit of grease on. Something must be going on. I'm hearing sirens in the distance. I got it in backwards. Wasn't paying attention. Coming in last place yet once again, number 4. Well, I couldn't ask that to be any smoother. That feels very nice, much better. It was fighting me to take them out. I took these bolts out but didn't take the backside off. That's fine. Because I would not have been able to get those holes and everything cleaned. All right, let's oil it everywhere and we'll be done. Wish I had one of those oil sprayers that you put oil in and then pressurize it and it sprays out. In case I missed anywhere, I'm just going to spray WD-40 everywhere. Like, I don't think I got those T-slots. Maybe I shouldn't put grease on the threads that hold my chuck on, but it seems like you're depending on the force, not the thread friction. Okay, a lot of work. I'm glad it's done. All right, thanks. Peace out.